Today we are going to talk about a principle that can either accelerate your success or quietly destroy it. And this is not random advice. This principle aligns directly with the philosophy of Napoleon Hill, the man who studied over 500 of the most successful individuals of his time and wrote one of the most influential books on wealth and achievement. Before we begin, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because here we don't discuss surface-level motivation. We break down the psychology behind power, wealth, and long-term success. Now let's begin. If you want to slow down your success, announce your plans to everyone. If you want to protect your growth, stay quiet. Most people believe that talking about their goals makes them more committed. They post about their new business idea. They tell friends about the promotion they are chasing. They explain their investment strategy at family dinners. It feels productive. It feels confident. It feels powerful. But what if that habit is quietly draining your power? There is a reason why many wealthy and successful individuals move in silence. And it is not because they are secretive by nature. It is because they understand something most people ignore. Words release energy that should have been used for execution. Napoleon Hill repeatedly emphasized the importance of protecting your definite chief aim. He believed that a goal is like a seed. And seeds grow best underground, not exposed to public discussion before they are strong enough to survive. He spent over 2 decades studying industrialists, inventors, entrepreneurs, and leaders. And he noticed a pattern. The highest achievers guarded their plans carefully. They did not rush to announce their next move. They were selective, strategic, intentional. Today, in the age of social media and constant exposure, this principle matters more than ever. Let's break this down clearly. When you talk about your plans, your brain feels rewarded. There is a psychological principle called social reality. When you tell people about a goal and they respond with approval, your brain releases dopamine. You feel accomplished, even though you have not done the work yet. You say you are launching a startup. People respond, "That's amazing. You're going to succeed. I always knew you were ambitious." And in that moment, you feel progress. But there is no progress. Only praise. Research in behavioral psychology has shown that publicly announcing goals can reduce the likelihood of completing them. Why? Because the mind partially confuses intention with achievement. You receive emotional satisfaction too early. Napoleon Hill warned about this in his own way. He wrote that desire must be backed by organized planning and persistent action. Not by public declaration. Pride before performance is dangerous. That emotional reward should come after results. Instead, it comes after words. The second layer is energy. Every time you explain your plans, you spend mental energy defending them. People question you. They doubt you. They project their fears onto you. Some will say it is unrealistic. Others will say it is risky. Even supportive people may unintentionally weaken your certainty by offering alternative paths. Now you are not just building your goal. You are managing reactions. And emotions are contagious. Psychology calls this emotional contagion. Doubt spreads. Skepticism spreads. Even subtle hesitation can enter your thinking. It does not have to be dramatic. A raised eyebrow, a sarcastic joke, a hesitant tone, that is enough. Napoleon Hill introduced the mastermind principle, the idea that you should surround yourself only with aligned, growth-oriented individuals. Not random opinions, not casual observers, not people who lack vision. Successful individuals understand that belief is fragile in the early stages. Before results exist, conviction must come from within. External noise can disrupt that. So they limit exposure. The third layer is power. Information is leverage. In business, strategies are rarely announced before execution. Companies protect innovations. Investors move quietly before markets react. Because once information is public, control decreases. In today's culture, oversharing has become normal. People document their progress in real time. They reveal behind-the-scenes plans. They outline strategies before they are proven. It builds attention, but it also builds vulnerability. There is an economic principle called signaling. When people lack real power, they often signal it loudly. Titles without revenue, announcements without execution, visibility without results. True power rarely signals. It accumulates quietly. Napoleon Hill understood that wealth begins in the mind but is secured through disciplined action. Notice the sequence: thought, plan, action, not announcement. The fourth layer is identity. When you repeatedly tell people what you are about to become, you lock yourself into that identity publicly. I'm starting a tech company. I'm becoming a full-time trader. I'm quitting my job next month. Now you feel pressure to remain consistent. If you pivot, you feel embarrassed. If you change direction, you feel judged. Behavioral science calls this consistency bias. Once something is declared publicly, it becomes psychologically harder to change. Silence gives flexibility. If you move quietly, you can test ideas privately, fail privately, pivot intelligently. Markets evolve, opportunities shift, strategies change. Silence protects adaptation. The fifth layer is focus. Talking about plans creates an illusion of productivity. It feels like forward motion. But execution requires deep, uninterrupted concentration. There are two mental modes: social mode and creator mode. Social mode is reactive, conversational, emotional. Creator mode is analytical, strategic, structured. You cannot dominate both at the same time. Napoleon Hill emphasized concentrated effort. Scattered energy produces scattered results. If half your attention is on how people perceive your move, the other half cannot fully commit to making it succeed. Now consider envy. Not everyone who smiles at your plans wants to see them materialize. Human psychology includes relative status evaluation. People measure themselves against others. If your growth threatens someone's self-image, even subconsciously, resistance appears. It may show up as subtle discouragement, reduced enthusiasm, backhanded compliments. You do not need enemies to slow down. You only need lowered energy around you. That is why high achievers choose their circle carefully. Napoleon Hill called this the mastermind alliance, intentional association with disciplined, ambitious minds. Selective disclosure, not isolation. Another dimension is timing. There is a difference between sharing vision and sharing results. Early-stage plans are fragile. Late-stage results are powerful. When you show results, people respect you. When you show plans, people evaluate you. Evaluation consumes energy. Respect generates leverage. If you are building a company, what matters more? Announcing it, or presenting growth metrics later? If you are investing, what matters more? Explaining your strategy, or showing consistent returns? If you are transforming yourself physically or mentally, what matters more? Talking discipline, or embodying it? Results speak without explanation. This does not mean you never speak. It means you choose when and with whom. Some argue that public accountability increases commitment. And in specific environments, that can be true, if the audience is disciplined and holds you to high standards. But most people confuse attention with accountability. Attention feels good. Accountability feels uncomfortable. We live in a time where visibility is rewarded more than depth. Social platforms reward announcements. They reward projections of future success. They reward branding over building. Napoleon Hill wrote in a different era, but his principle is even stronger today: guard your plans until they are strong enough to stand on their own. Silence creates mystery. Mystery creates power. In negotiation, revealing urgency weakens position. In career advancement, revealing desperation reduces leverage. In investing, revealing strategy invites competition. If others are unsure of your next move, they cannot predict or block it. Quiet thinkers compound faster. High-level decision-making requires clarity. Clarity requires internal dialogue. Too many external opinions dilute judgment. If you tell 10 people about your idea, you will receive 10 biases. Now your thinking is divided. Instead of analyzing data calmly, you are managing narratives. Confidence built on action is durable. Confidence built on talk is fragile. Napoleon Hill emphasized persistence. Persistence requires emotional stability. Emotional stability requires minimizing unnecessary disturbances. Every opinion you invite is a potential disturbance. Talking too much about what you do creates early emotional rewards, external noise, competitive exposure, identity rigidity, and reduced focus. Silence preserves energy, flexibility, leverage, and belief. The most dangerous stage of any goal is the beginning. Excitement is high. Proof is low. Validation feels tempting. But validation is expensive. It costs focus. It costs momentum. It costs independence. Share results strategically. Share plans selectively. Share vision only with aligned individuals capable of contributing, not just commenting. Less announcement, more execution. Less explanation, more progress. Less declaration, more discipline. You do not need everyone to understand what you are building. You need it to work. When you constantly tell people what you are doing, you become attached to perception. When you quietly build, you become attached to production. Perception is unstable. Production compounds. The world does not reward promises. It rewards outcomes. Napoleon Hill understood that wealth begins with thought, but it is secured by controlled action. Words are cheap. Focus is rare. Discipline is rare. The real power move is not to impress people with your plans. It is to surprise them with your results. Because in the end, success does not need to be announced. It becomes obvious.